Take a look at that.
And 80.
All right. Yeah, it looks better now. If it loads in.
Oh yeah, way better. I can actually
Good.
see the logos at the bottom.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know why it was always set lower, but it's fixed now. Got higher. All right. I got audio as well. Of course, the YouTube is freezing up on me, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Anyways, all right.
Do that on that one.
Try this again. What we are doing is, oh, that's why I did that. We're gonna be doing the, to kind of recap what I said earlier. We're gonna be doing the yokes for the beds, and we're also gonna be doing the bed plate for the base of the bed. So if you've watched the other streams before and what we've talked about, we're gonna be doing the kind of recap. We talked about the main bed is being like the bed heater is the MK52 from like the Prusa MK3s and also used in the MK4s, mainly because it's the options for flex plates are so plentiful. So that's a one big advantage you want people to be able to use. Big thing with this build is we want it to be relatively cheaper compared to, you know, like the Daedalus and stuff like that. We want it to be a kit. We want it to be also able for people to just go out and buy their own parts or get their own parts made and build this printer on their own, make modifications however they want and whatnot. So yeah, so today we're since the last time we streamed, I was able to duplicate this over. We got that done. We have the Z rails in everywhere, and the extrusion for the Z axis, really for just the height of our printer. The big advantage of this is we plan on doing belted Z's for all three points, so that you can just extend your extrusion, you can extend your linear rail, and get longer belt, and you'll be able to make this whatever height. Off the bat, we're looking at 300 millimeter rails. Should give you about 250 millimeters of build volume in Z. And then moving from there, you can kind of just make it whatever you want it to be. So yeah, so the big thing is today we're also going to be looking at how we're going to we plan on doing our kinematics for this thing. So the big thing is having like a ball coupler at each of the 3 points, and then have some way of something for them to ride on that we know that we'll be able to pivot to an extent on the bed, so we can do actual tramming and leveling the bed itself. Just take the advantage of all of that. So the big thing we need to work on is what our bed is going to be mounted to. So what Prusa uses is like we call it like the frog, the dead frog. Let's see if we have a reference pulled up here. We may have the reference still in here. It doesn't look like it. So what we can do is we can bring it into can open it up here so you guys can see kind of what we're working from here. Let's make sure that we have a reference in here. Black carriage. Maybe not. Okay. We'll bring it up here. So if we pull it off the front of this frame, nope, that frame goes with it. everything but the bed to disappear. Oh, we can just isolate it. Duh. But apparently it won't let you isolate it for some reason. All right. So see here, we can look at the bottom. What everybody calls the dead frog. But yeah, it's the same thing for like this is what we use for the Apollos and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's the standard. But we need it to be a little bit more rigid, and we needed to be able to attach different points. This was set to be attached with 4 bolts to a carriage on a linear rail, like the way this one was set up, and then have a belt mounts here, here, and here, which we don't need. We're not belting anything to this part. This will be on a rigid base. So, like always, we're trying to get feedback on this. We want to kind of know what you guys want to see in 3D printers and a kit 3D printer. So feel free to let us know what you think, what you'd like to see, and we'll definitely try to get it into a printer like this. So, I'm only seeing one in Twitch right now. Are you?
I'm only seeing the one in Twitch.
Yeah. So, what we want to do is hopefully we can get that picked up a little bit.
Good. 3 people on YouTube.
Yeah. How's it going, everyone? Join Jen. Let us know if you have any questions or opinions or suggestions, what you'd like to see. Just gonna try to look at all of this because we are gonna have these same mounting points. Then we can just take this bed and make it disappear. So we're gonna go off a reference here, just put some reference points here. Through the bed one more time. Yeah, that should be good. 20 and 20. This is just for reference right now. It's not going to be static. 20. And then we'll make this that we can actually modify off of. Cancel. We need our sketches back. Where are... Okay. Sketches are there. Print sketch. So we just go off this. Oh gosh darn it. Let's adjust that. We're gonna want this to be about a 1/4 inch plate. Oh, 6.35. Go on the negative though, so we can bring it up the other side. Actually, let's go back and edit our sketch here. Just go back all the way. Because here, we want these to be a 3 mil. Oh, that's a 2.5 right there. These will be tapped. But you normally have on a Prusa style bed, you have a countersunk bolt that goes into a standoff. And then normally that goes to the top of your PCB heater, and then that standoff thing gets bolted down into a point on what they used as the dead frog before we'll have it mount directly onto this. But we don't want this to be too heavy at the same time, because we do want to go a belted Z, so we have to be cautious of the overall weight of the system. So yeah, that is something we have to worry about. So we go off of this, and then we go negative 6.35. And then we bring our bed back in. Let's see what this even looks like. Yeah, the bed itself needs to be moved up. So it's referencing. Oh, there we go. Looks like it's about 3.5. Okay. So you'd still have your standoffs here. If you've built an MK3 or you've built an MK4, one of the newer kits, it's possible that you've had to actually assemble one of these beds, right? And if you have, you'll know that this body that you'll have a thermistor come in here and come to right around here and get secured down with tape. But because, like, one thing that we have to be cautious of is on a Prusa, this is right, like, this is like on the bottom of the bed. There isn't too much airflow across the bottom of it, just because of the fact that you've got your frame. Cautious of is your Y frame, stuff like that. So, like, you're not going to have a crazy amount of airflow. With this, we will. So having the big open slots everywhere will be a disadvantage. Another thing is, it may be worth us looking at once we test this. We'll go with the standard height. So what Prusa calls the standard height here is, look at the heights of this. So this is based off of their design. So 6 mil, and we were using 10 mil. Give us a little bit more space. So what we can do is add insulation to the bottom of this. Some people still use cork. We use like a neoprene insulation for the bottom. And that's going to be the goal there. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, we've got our base plate now. We need to figure out let's look at this really quick. Looks like we're not centered up on this. We are there. We are there. But it sticks out over one side. Oh yeah, I know why. So let's make this adjustment. So it's not all squared up on the actual PCB heater, so we have to adjust for that. So it's 3.1 off one side. Make this change. This is gonna be, oh geez, one of them just went green. I don't know if you saw that, Brad. Did you see that?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, one of the streams just went full green.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, maybe it's been me then. It was weird. So these front tabs aren't heated. They're not needed for anything really. So, but we do want to make sure that you're able to get your fingers in here. So it would make sense to not. We'd probably just have to divot in that piece apart, right? Because you're not going to want to chop this out, because we need a connection point like right here. So we could probably just do a curve in so that you'll be able to get your finger to the plate, right? So let's go off of, let's get rid of the sketch and the sketch. Yeah. All right. So in the grand scheme of things, the idea would be we're going to use a 10 mil ball. That's what we're using on the new Daedaluses. So a 20 mil ear. Probably 15 out. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to do a 20 mil ear out. So of course this is very much we're throwing stuff at it to see if what we like, and then once we know what we want to do, we'll then make the modifications. So we do need to be at the center of this, yeah. So another thing is we're gonna have two bolts that go down through here that hold on our bed. So it's probably at the same time we do need somewhere to mount a cable chain, right? To have something come off and down. So that it has somewhere to, you know, come up. But we don't want it to be around this. So we're going to need at least this notch out. To make sure that we're not having anybody contact the head of a screw down and then shorting off of this. Not the head of the screw, but you know what I mean. Because you also need to be able to, that way you can also, like right here, the way it works is that it's like a printed cover. It's like a clamshell. One goes over, one goes under. You have a nut on the bottom and a bolt through the top. This way you'll be able to get a tool to the nut on the bottom if you need to, if having this cut out. This isn't all going to be these sharp curves and stuff like that, but it will be changing as we go here. So we need to look at the back at this. Let's do this. Let's get some. Just give ourselves a reference point here. 10. And then this is 20. There we go. That should give us a centered up ear. 20, 20. Boom, boom. So where did my other sketches go? Oh, wrong sketch. Yes, Janet. Let's pull up the sketch again. This is what we need to modify. Let's try to keep it as much as possible. What is this? Divided by 2. Nope. Man, I am a little off of it today. Playing all that Starfield, granted.
Yeah, I think just one of those days.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. So let's use this as a reference point. Why did that not do it as a reference point? Okay. No. I saw you were playing a little bit this afternoon.
I played a little bit. I've been having fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, what have you done? What cool things have you done so far?
Right now, I'm just trying to figure out how to sell stuff. I swear, every time I go to try selling something, I hit a different uh, planet,
Yeah.
and it just delays me from selling stuff again. And then I just get over encumbered and over encumbered.
Yeah, I just I had to up my ship a big time. A big time.
I did the same thing, and now I'm wondering, where do where's the best place to store resources?
Store them, yeah. I moved everything to my ship.
Yeah, I got 1,500 in storage, and then all the players are full. I've got so much resources right now. I think that's the majority of my weight. I think there's
Yeah.
probably a better way of storage here, and I just don't know what it is yet.
My problem isn't that's not the bulk of my weight, it seems, which annoys me. I keep dumping all of my miscellaneous and my resources and still looking at being like 105 pound, 5 mass, right?
Mhm.
Which is annoying. It's like, what do I do then? Like, how do I fix this?
I have like 1,000 in resources
Yeah,
on
it's
the ship.
all my on my ship. I have 1,500.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Of resources only though?
Um, Mostly resources. I've gotten rid of mostly everything else.
Yeah, I don't know if I should start selling some of the aid equipment.
No, make. So I built out a. This is currently our Starfield portion of the
Mm.
stream tonight.
Is this what your spaceship's gonna look like by the end of
Yes,
it?
yes. Have you noticed that the tool bench makes 3D printer sounds?
Does it?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that yet. You mean like the industrial or which one?
Uh huh.
All of them or?
Yeah, it's the industrial.
Okay.
I built out my first um not my space station, but my first.
Spaceship.
Nope. Um,
Oh, outpost?
Outpost. Yeah.
I haven't.
I did it
Have
on
so then
Cheyenne.
when you were storing things in the or putting things down in the outpost, was it like really hard to aim
Mm-mm.
to get things perfectly lined up?
Oh, I haven't done anything inside. I built out a building for inside, but I haven't touched anything in there yet.
Okay.
So, big thing we're doing here is we're making the points for the kinematic balls. And that's
Is that the
what.
goal on this?
Yeah, why
All
not?
the kinematics?
Mm-hmm.
Price.
Price. What do you mean price,
I didn't know if that
sir?
was a concern.
Yeah. So the kinematic balls are um you can get kinematic balls from Amazon.
Okay.
And it's like cheap. So
Just
the,
cones catching them or something?
no, you'll have pins, and pins are cheap as well.
Okay. Two
Um,
pins?
what's that?
2 pins at a 30-degree angle or?
2 pins on the front two, and then 3 pins on the back,
Oh, okay.
and they'll be seated into a printed part. So if you look at that's how like what's his name did it. Um, who am I thinking of? The guy from 3D Printing World. He used 3D printed parts for his, and it worked just fine. So the kinematic balls you can get are for deltas. Nine. You can get 16 pieces for $10, so $9.99
Okay.
is all you'd be looking at for that. Um. So yeah. So I have the balls already designed up. They're 10mm balls with an M4 tap hole in them. So they look like these. And these would be just bolted through the top. So the reason why you'd have 3 pins on the back instead of the 2 like you would in the front is because you want there to be a like a retained position. I've noticed that a few people who've built kinematics for 3D printers in the hobby sector, they let all 3 of them move, which is not really. That's not how kinematics work, right? You either have all 3 of them static, to where it's then like for what you do, Brandon. Do you guys have kinematic plates for anything? For inspection?
Not necessarily kinetic plates, but the
Like the balls
the
resting into
probes.
a specific spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the probes are kinematic, yeah.
And they stay in one spot, right? Like when they sit down, they're not allowed to move at all.
Yeah, generally speaking they don't know.
Yeah. So you have that kind of kinematics where you'll pretty much have it in like two bars pointing towards the center of the bed on all three of them. And that works well because then it like locks it into place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas what we want is we want it to be like this. Instead of having everything aimed here, because this is how you keep everything in line, and then the bed would always sit down in the same spot, like by doing this, right? That's how your kinematics for your like probes and stuff like that are done. Correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas what we want is we want this. Whereas everything, these two will have two pins pointing to this point, two pins pointing to this point, and then this would be retained in all directions. So that if this side goes down, the other two, like this would slide closer. If it goes up, it'll slide out and then back into like being closer on the rods. So one good thing for reference for that is I don't think we really got too many people tonight, Brian.
No, it's pretty quiet.
Yeah,
We have one that keeps popping in and out of YouTube, and that's it.
it might be both of us though.
What do you say? Oh yeah, it might be us.
Baltic. Remember that website I sent you to? Baltic.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute, but yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. One really good reference is if we come over to screen share. I added a thing. Close this, and then bring this up into here. Let me know if you can see Baltic.
Yeah, I see McMaster.
Yeah, I should switch over to Baltic here.
There's Baltic.
Okay. So this website is really, really good for reference. It's got a lot of they're terrible to order from, to say the least. But they are like their whole business is kinematics. So, like what we used for the big printer when we did them at IC3D, where we did use this company for them, and we use these this style here with a ball. It was a 1-inch ball and a like a V groove style. They say that these V groove styles give a lot more actual surface contact, allowing for better weight transmission because we were using a very, very heavy motion system. But they have multiple different options here. But yeah, like this would be what we were talking about, how you reference so you don't want it to move at all. And that's what this is here. Whereas what we're doing is we want it to be able to slide. So you want something similar to more like this, or like this, with a retained ball like this. So yeah, like yes, maybe their descriptions aren't the best, but you'll have the V grooves. Like this is more of the setup we're going with. It's like this. So yeah, that is kind of the standard we're going with here. But yeah, so Baltic's a really good option. So what we want, one thing, like you talked about price. So if you go to McMaster, which everybody can order from McMaster, we're looking at more dowel pins. And if we went with a, what are we looking at here? We want to millimeter size. So if we went with 5 mil dowel pins that someone can easily get, you're looking at like a package of 5 for $7. Granted, you would need more than 5, but so you would need 2 for each front, which are, and then 2 and 3 for the back. So we're looking at a total of 7, right? Which we could get. So we don't need a crazy length. We need longer ones for the front, and then the back ones need to be smaller because you just want it to be able to rest and not move. So a 10 mil would work for those backs. So you're looking at only like $30 for everything, Brand, which shouldn't be too bad for making this. And then it'll be a printed setup for X and Y, or for the actual mounting points, right? So gotta get back to the live scene. All right. Let's see what's going on. It says we got 3 viewers. So, looks like it's probably just a bad night for streaming. Let me do this one thing. This is what I'm thinking of doing, Brand. This is having having this bent down here to have your cable chain.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think cable chain is probably the best thing for this. Right? Because if we did cable chain, if you linked in your Z, then you have to get more cable chain, and cable chain can get expensive. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So would it just have a bend down like this right here under this? That would just be what should we call it? Just strain relief and
Okay, yeah.
braided. So I think I'm just doing that. So all right. Well, let's work more on this on Thursday. It looks like everybody's kind of doing their own things tonight, and we don't want people to miss too much of this. Our main group. So what we're gonna do is we're probably gonna call this one early tonight, and then we'll be back on Thursday, with more stream and stuff. Sorry guys, we'll see you around. We'll be back Thursday. Take care.